Welcome to this first video of the Portal application. We're so happy that you're here because the Portal application is intended at daycares who want to improve the way that they find parents and that parents find them for openings. We're starting on the home page and we're going to do a summary and recap of how the main platform works before jumping into the Portal app. You see right now we're on the home page, and if I were to click right here, search, we end up on the common search page that we have. These daycare profiles have already filled in their profiles and have all the information set up in order to have these amazing and beautiful profiles. You can see we have the name of each one, its location, the number of programs, followers, openings, and other things that they have. We have the contact information, languages, and much more things. As a parent, it's very important to be able to search for daycares and to find those daycares that are specifically around them. And this equally benefits the daycares, because if you can find parents that are around you, you can also send invitations to them to fill up any spots that you may have. When you're looking on the search page, you're specifically looking at what's called a daycare profile. There's 3 levels of profiles that we have. We have a profile for an organization or a business, we have a profile for a daycare, and then we have profiles for programs. The intention behind this is that one daycare means exactly one location. Within one daycare, though, you may want to split it between multiple programs. The programs could be seasonal or they could be based on age. So for example, this is a program page owned by this organization, and if we scroll down a little bit, we see the daycares that offer this program. There's one in Burnaby, and then there's a second one for this organization also offering the same program in downtown Vancouver. Heading back to the daycare profile, if we scroll down a little bit as well, you see that over here we also have each of the programs that this daycare offers. We have a preschoolers program, and then we scroll down a little more and we have an infants program as well. At the organization level, it basically acts as an umbrella for all of the daycares that this business owns. So a lot of the times your business will only have a single daycare. But occasionally, if you happen to be one of these daycares that has multiple locations, the organization profile is a great way for you to be able to have multiple daycares in a single location. And this 3-profile approach of organization, daycare, and program makes it incredibly simple so that parents can be informed when they're making decisions about whether to apply or inquire into your daycare. Now that we've explored the home page, what we're going to do is we're going to close all the different tabs, and we're going to click this button right here on the top right hand side where it says Lucy Platform. You see that on the home page, when I'm logged in, I have a button right here that says Portal App. The Portal app is the one for daycares, and it's the one you'll be clicking. So right now I'm showing you an example of a daycare and organization that has already filled in all their profiles, they're already on a paid plan, and they've published everything. I want to show you this example for the introduction video, and then when we get into each specific feature over the next couple videos, we'll start from an empty profile and we'll fill it in together. If I click the Lucy Home button right here, you see it no longer takes us to the other home page. This is because we're currently in the Portal application. If you wanted to go back, you click Apps and Lucy Platform, and you get returned back to the Lucy Home page. But for now, let's go back to the Portal application. You see, for my specific user, for Eduardo, we have 2 organizations. That means we have 2 groupings for daycares and programs. There's a franchise or set of daycares called Little Acorn, and then there's a second one called Little Sprout. The one I'm working on specifically is Little Acorn, so let's click into that one. This is the organization homepage. You can see that it lists all the profiles that I have, including the organization profile, the profiles for each of the daycares, and the profiles for each of the programs. I can continue going down, and I can also see the availability for each one. So for example, this single daycare in Vancouver has a capacity of 70, occupancy of 60, which means that there's 10 available spots. I can also see the availability for each one. I scroll down a little further, and we have openings. These are the promotional items that you'll be setting at the daycare level to specify how many openings you're expecting to fill. These are the ones that get added to your profile and that parents can see. We also have a matching system based on the openings that you have, and I'll show you that shortly. On the right hand side, you can see that currently I'm on the daycare franchise plan. I have a drive that's about half full with 233 photos that I use for galleries. And then in my resources, I have 8 galleries, 4 different locations, 1 contact email, and 1 contact phone number. I'm going to switch over for a quick second back to the daycare search. You see right here that sometimes we have some daycares that are listed ahead of time. And if you click this button right here, it says that some placeholder images had been added when we set up these profiles for them. This means that if you're creating a portal account, your daycare may already be in the system. We can search to see if that happens to be the case. So for example, if I search here by find daycares by name, and I search the word tree, we can use the main search also to identify whether a daycare already exists for us. In this case, I don't happen to see any daycare that's actually mine. But if it turns out that this Blue Tree Daycare happened to be my own profile, what I could do back in the Portal app is I could click this user menu, click on Movements, go to Claims, and search for an organization. If one of these happens to be my daycare, I could click Claim, fill in my information, and I would be creating a claim request to take over the ownership of this organization and this daycare. If we're starting from scratch, when you create your initial account, you'll get an empty organization that looks something like this. You'll start in the founder plan, and you won't have any daycares or programs until you add them yourself. But let's go back to the example where all of it is filled in, and let's go through some of the features at a high level. We've shown you the different profiles. So in this case, we have one organization profile, a couple daycare profiles, and some program profiles as well. I'm going to click one of each so you can see what the profiles look like when you're editing it yourself. You see that the profile look, when you're editing it internally, looks a little bit differently. And the reason for this is we want to make it as simple as possible for you to be able to add all the information that you need. We have an About section. We have all the daycares associated with this organization, programs, galleries, emails and phones, and any links. You can also explore the daycare profile and program profile on your own, and they have very similar setups. Let's go now to enrollment. In enrollment, we have a set of things that we talked about before. We have the availability, and we have the openings. Recall that availability allows you to set the capacity, the occupancy, and the availability for each specific daycare. If your daycare happens to have multiple programs, such as this one, which is called Cedar Grove, that has a seedlings program and a sprouts program, you can also set the capacity, occupancy, and availability at the program level. Then once you have that availability, you can create openings, such as this one, which is an opening for a spot, and this has a spots count of 2, which means there's 2 available spots for this daycare and this specific program. You can see all of the different openings that you have across all your daycares and programs in a single page. And then once you set up the openings and your profiles are published, you get matches. And matches are basically parent accounts that you have on the opposite side where they filled in a daycare request because they're looking for an opening. So for example, you see on the left-hand side here, we have a profile for Emma Wilson, who's located in Vancouver. She's about 100 meters from us, so she's very close, and she's looking for a daycare starting on May 1st. You see that from our daycares list, we actually have one daycare that's a good match for her, and then we have a second daycare that's also a good match for her. It shows the percentage fit, so this one might be a better recommendation for her, and we also have the ability to set a status as to whether we've contacted her, dismissed it, saved it, reviewed it, and so on. On this right-hand side, we have another person named Olivia. We can see Olivia's profile and what she's looking for a daycare. We see Olivia is looking for a daycare that's in English, and that's also in Vancouver, Monday to Friday. And we can click Start Chat and send Olivia a starting message. We end up in our chats page with the user being the daycare. We've sent Olivia a message request, so now we would have to wait for a response for Olivia if we wanted to continue the chat. We can look into some of the existing chats to see what a chat kind of looks like as well. For Emma, we also sent her an invitation and she responded. We can continue this chat with Emma, or we can continue the chat with Ethan, and so on. Moving on to resources, your organization, daycares, and programs are going to need galleries. They're going to need locations, emails, phones, operating hours, and amenities. And from the resources page, you can manage all of this in a single place. Your drive is a cloud drive. You can see in this example, there's 233 items that I have inside my drive. And when I look at specific items, such as this one, you see that there's a 1 right here. I can open this item up, click on that link where we see the 1, and we see that this item is actually being used in a gallery. And we basically see that for all of these. Your drive allows you to set up photos, add documents, videos, and to look specifically only at the items that have been linked to galleries or icons. We also have posts. You can create posts for one or multiple daycares or do it at the organization level, and then you can publish these, which will end up in the newsfeed page on the main site. Posts can be accompanied by text, photos, in a gallery form, and they can also be accompanied by links. And the cool thing about posts is that once they're public and you're followed by different parents, parents can reply in the comment section, and you can have amazing conversations with them, and you could build up a community within Lucy's Circle. One of the very important things about Lucy's Circle is that once you create your profiles, you want to know some information about how often it's getting viewed, because sometimes you'll have to tailor the photos or information based on the parents that you're trying to target. So for example, if we go into the analytics page, you see that we get a bunch of useful information that allows us to make better decisions. We can see the number of page views that we've gotten across all the different daycares that we have, and also across the different posts that we have. You can see this daycare right here has a total of 12 views and 26 impressions, and we can also see a breakdown of the traffic and the engagement. We can click on any of the sub-pages to look only at the profiles, or to only look at the performance of all the different posts. We can also see all the parents that are following us, and then we could click into their profile to send them a message and interact with them. The final piece of Portal is the settings. The settings allows you to control your organization from a single page. It shows you your current plan. It allows you to go directly to the subscription settings, to explore other plans, and to see how you would delete either your organization and one or many of its daycares. There's a subscriptions page where you can see the historical timeline of all the subscriptions that you have, any payments associated, payment records, invoice records, and refunds as well. As you can see, the Portal application has so many different features, and they're all intended to make your life easier and to control everything related to your organization and daycares from one place. This is probably a lot of information in a very short format, so it's intended to only give you a very high-level overview of how everything works. Over the next set of videos, we're going to go into each feature in much more detail, one at a time, and we strongly recommend that you watch all of the videos to fully understand all of the features that Portal has to offer. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments. Thank you so much for watching.